So Hollow Knight Silksong is coming out I think next week. Yeah. Remember we talked about for years about Hollow Knight Silksong coming out? This game's gonna sell very well. It is a highly anticipated game that, is gonna sell very well because the original Hollow Knight is so beloved as well. Well, let's hope the game's actually good. It isn't a cyberpunk, but considering the fact they're an indie developer, they probably took a long time to make the game because they wanted to make sure the game was perfect as well. I understand that. That's why Nintendo's not even sometimes it takes so long between every new Mario game as well. Because Nintendo wants to make sure the game is complete as well. Okay. And I am glad that, how like Silksong is finally coming out. Because in order to defeat all those crappy AAA games that have been releasing over the past couple of years, it would be pretty hilarious to see as well, okay? Because indie games, so I think should be taken more seriously. I remember I would always make fun of Nintendo doing indie directs, but there are actually some genuine indie games that become huge hits as well. For example, the best-selling game of all time was originally an indie game as well. Heck, I think even Nintendo started out as an indie game studio making games like Donkey Kong for the arcade. But yeah, this is gonna be causing a lot of server issues on Steam because a lot of people are gonna be playing this game. Heck, when this game's release date was announced, Hollow Knight Silksong ballooned to around 50 to 40,000 players. Heck, the original Hollow Knight before this game's release date was announced, had around 4,000, 7,000 players, which is huge for a single player indie game as well. I think people need to stop underestimating Hollow Knight's popularity because it's way more popular than people think it is. There's a lot of games that, are deceptively more popular than people think. And I think, unlike games like Undertale, Hollow Knight Silksong is that type of game I think people play over and over again to test their skills because it is a pretty difficult game, what I've heard as well. But it's kind of like Dark Souls or Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. It's challenging and rewarding. It's not like Mega Man where it's just complete bullshit every single time, okay? The game's meant to be challenging because it's supposed to be challenging and rewarding and satisfying, okay? Those are the types of games that I think, when you want to make a difficult game, you should make the game challenging and satisfying. You should not make the game challenging because it's a big FU to the game, to the player, okay? You have to find a balance between, challenge and satisfaction, which the games like Dark Souls and Hollow Knight do pretty well, I think, as well, okay? Same thing with games like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and other roguelike games as well. Okay, I know Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is far more easier, but even like the original Mystery Dungeon, the game could get pretty difficult at some points if you go unprepared into a dungeon as well. And that's what this video here. Goodbye.